The Combine is perhaps the most pivotal faction in the Half-Life series. The interdimensional empire of augmented species wields technological marvels so advanced they border on the limits of imagination and our darkest nightmares. But a key component to their multidimensional campaign for control is in their ability to adapt and assimilate technology.
Citizen reminder. Inaction is conspiracy. Report counter behavior to a civil protection team immediately.
This assimilation of technology by the Combine can be clearly seen when it comes to their occupation of Earth. While they deploy many of their own machines that are very much alien to humans in design and concept, they more often than not adopt human tech to their own needs. Combine utilized technology on Earth includes completely original creations, altered human technologies, and unaltered human technologies. Their scope can range from entire infrastructures to simple weaponry and tools. A prime example of this is trains, as there exist both unaltered and altered human designs. Simple passenger and freight cars that don't appear to have had any changes are still commonly used. But there are also plenty of examples of train cars that have been clearly redesigned and likely augmented with advanced systems. Both share railways that were already built long before the Combine arrived on Earth. Continuing with vehicles and transportation, the Combine have also redesigned their own version of helicopters that share many similarities to what humans invented, but with their signature style of darkened and sharp metal. The Combine's use of vehicles that likely have human influence also includes armored personnel carriers. Interestingly enough, they also deploy biomechanical gunships that function very similar to helicopters. These aircrafts are an example of synths, which are alien species that have been augmented with machinery as well as being forced to undergo genetic and psychoengineering, a process that many humans have also undergone to become transhuman soldiers and stalkers. The synths appear to have no human influence in their creation, as the process of altering a species to that degree is well beyond the capabilities of mankind. They were also likely formed from species conquered long before Earth was even invaded. Even recognizable augmentations like propellers may suggest such designs are rudimentary enough to be created by separate civilizations independent of each other. This may be true for other technologies such as Combine cameras, lights, elevators, dispensers, and binoculars. The universality and functionality of these types of devices make it highly likely they were developed independently, despite humans developing similar counterparts. This suggests there cannot be a clear line drawn between original Combine tech and human tech, but inferences can be made. The Combine utilized both human munitions like guns and grenades as well as their own more advanced versions. Their transhuman forces wear body armor and gas masks clearly evolved from human designs. Some soldiers also wear radio equipment on their back that seem to be an evolution of human technology. This fusion of designs can be clearly seen when it comes to architecture and infrastructure. The Combine doesn't appear to be interested in completely tearing down cities only to rebuild their own, at least when it comes to Earth, as they utilize metropolitan areas for settling human populations, as well as being centers for control. The Combine use many human buildings for administrative and military purposes as well, but at the same time they regularly intersplice their own technology and designs into them, such as door locks, shields, and turrets. Nova Prospekt is a prison that even seems to be in the process of being converted into a Combine building. And in their own buildings like the Citadel, guardrails and walkways can be seen where humans and transhumans are known to frequent, but absent elsewhere. Basic utilities like the electrical grid have not undergone any known changes, but it's still used by the Combine to power cities, their own equipment, and their own buildings. The Combine do have their own means of generating power, like their dark energy reactor and generators, but those seem to be more reserved for specific locations, such as the Citadel and their teleportation network. The same appears to be true for other utilities like water, sewage, and garbage disposal. While not seen in game, it can be assumed these types of services were left largely untouched and remain operational by human workers to facilitate the basic needs of population centers. Likewise, human systems for broadcasting communication are often used by the Combine to relay propaganda messages to the populace. But integrated into these networks are also projector screens, clearly of their own design, and likely many more unseen technologies. Combine workers can sometimes be seen wearing personal protective equipment that have origins in human designs, though changed slightly and likely augmented with Combine tech to be more efficient. This is mostly seen in the quarantine zone, where workers have been tasked with dissolving and cleaning up interdimensional flora and fauna that have seeped into Earth. Even their computer terminals suggest some degree of human influence given their ease of use by transhuman forces and rebels. Though this is not as evident as other examples and suggests a hybrid of their technology and human designs so that the forces on Earth can use them, such as the inclusion of keyboards. The Combine do deploy plenty of their own technology on Earth that don't appear to have any human influence. Examples include scanners, force fields, manhacks, emitters, field bridges, restrictors, smart barriers, fabricators, and confiscation fields.
Security alert. Unregistered weapons detected. Confiscation field engaged.
It is also worth noting the suppression field and Overwatch voice. We know very little about these omnipresent systems of control, but what we do know is horrifying. The Overwatch voice is broadcasted with loudspeakers over cities and other highly controlled Combine areas. It acts as a dispatch to metropolitan police and soldiers, as well as a civilian bulletin system. The Overwatch voice also appears to be part of an all-knowing surveillance system, as it is able to issue commands related to ongoing events in real time. That includes issuing judgments to citizens passed down by some unseen judiciary. It appears to be an automated system given that the voice sounds robotic, possibly controlled by an AI. However, given that the Combine regularly blend living beings with robotics, it cannot be ruled out that the system is controlled by an organism of some sort. The suppression field prevents human procreation. It essentially dropped the human birth rate down to 0. This is why no children are seen in the games, as it has been operational since the early days of the Combine occupation. The details of how it works is unknown, but it is revealed that it prevents the development of certain protein chains important to the process of embryonic development. Its purpose is to keep the human population at an easy-to-manage level until the Combine is ready to completely unify what was once humans into its conglomeration. This ability to adapt technologies has likely played a critical role in their successful conquest across the multiverse. Rather than rebuild everything from scratch when conquering a planet, it makes perfect strategic and logistical sense to integrate what is useful to them, and where beneficial, deploy that technology on other worlds. This also has the added benefit of being more intuitive to the species they have integrated into their military forces. For instance, transhuman soldiers are used as their primary enforcers on Earth. This is because they are the best fit given it is their own planet. And so it makes perfect sense for them to continue to use technological interfaces they would be accustomed to. A central conflict of the series even revolves around the Combine seeking to commandeer human teleportation technology. This technology was first developed by the Black Mesa Research Facility and its rival, Aperture Science. The human resistance made further advancements in secret after the Combine invasion. The Combine teleportation systems allow them to go to other universes, but they have failed to develop intra-universal travel, relying instead on more traditional transportation methods once in a new reality. The human resistance, on the other hand, had been developing in secret a form of teleportation that would allow for localized travel within the same universe by using the dimensional border world Zen as a relay. It acts as an unexpressed access by using a modulator to emulate the effects of the border world without having to physically pass through, a major breakthrough in human engineering and science.
Dr. Kleiner compressed the Zen relay far beyond anything he imagined in Black Mesa. We've figured out how to use Zen as an unexpressed axis, effectively a dimensional slingshot, so we can swing around the border world and come back in local space without having to pass through.
This may be a reason why the Combine have been slow to fully convert and integrate humans, as they don't want to lose that creativity in the process. It can also be assumed they let the resistance movement operate underground to some degree, knowing their scientific and engineering apparatuses were working towards that technology. Their appointed human representative on Earth, Dr. Wallace-Breen, even alludes to this possibility, as well as ongoing negotiations with the Combine overworld.
Having both of you in my keeping ensures I can dictate the terms of any bargain I care to make with the Combine.
Dr. Breen.
Huh.
Wallace.
Yes, Judith, what is it?
The bargain we should be making is for Eli's life so he can continue his research.
Thanks to you, we have everything we need in that regard. You're more than qualified to finish his research yourself.
We don't see much of the Combine in game besides an occupying force on Earth consisting mostly of transhumans and a select portion of synths, and thus the large degree of technology evolved from or integrated into human designs makes a lot of sense. It is even reasonable to assume they deployed far more advanced technology during their initial invasion of Earth, a catastrophic event known as the 7-Hour War. Once they gained control of the human populace, it would have become unnecessary to keep that tech on world, and thus it was likely sent back to where they came from or redeployed on another war front. Russell alludes to this possibility in the most recent entry in the franchise, Half-Life Alyx. But even as humans must grapple with their own technology being used against them, so too does the Combine. The human resistance uses Combine technology wherever possible to fight back, such as communication systems, body armor, and munitions. Alex Vance has a robotic dog made of scrap metal from former Combine components like scanners. Russell built a personal drone out of a scanner. Dr. Isaac Kleiner utilized the propaganda system to relay critical information during the C-17 uprising and evacuation.
If you find yourself still within the confines of City 17, you are well advised to leave the city at once by the fastest means available to you. We have restored service to much of the commuter transport system in order to carry citizens out of the city as quickly as possible. We have also established camps and triage areas in the surrounding environs. I repeat, you must evacuate the city at once. While there was certainly a great benefit in destroying the Citadel's teleport core, we have detected one rather unfortunate side effect. It would appear an inevitability that very soon now the Citadel will be consumed in a destructive event whose magnitude I cannot currently estimate with any certainty, except to say that it will almost certainly irradiate an area of many miles radius. Therefore, I repeat, evacuate City 17 at once.
Combine components are regularly used by the Resistance in the development of their own teleportation technology, such as power generators and thyristors. Alex using her EMP tool to gain access to terminals and bypass door locks suggests it comes from or integrates Combine technology. Its physical appearance alludes to this possibility as well. And so the games present a sort of cultural diffusion, not born from trade or some other form of mutual exchange, but of conquest and rebellion.